the fastest LASO Deathless run in the world. This run took just under 2 years to pull off and is a testament to just how far Halo has come, and yet still how far it can be pushed when you're determined. Today we're going to look at a player named Raw and how he managed to not only be the first player in the world to beat Halo 3 ODST on LASO difficulty without dying, but how he also set a time standard that will likely never be beaten by any player with any amount of time that passes. There's a lot that goes into runs like this as far as time and routing, but the sheer will to not give up and persevere to reach a goal is definitely worth the coverage here. The way this game plays is not like the other Halo titles, as parts of this game are played in a flashback type of way. You travel around as the rookie, aka the main character, and find little clues as to where your squad is, so it's important to note that you actually play a lot of the different members of this squad throughout the game, just in the form of a flashback. This is also a good time to mention one other thing about this run that is completely separate from all the other Halos as well. Like every other Halo game, this game has Easter eggs. The difference is that these Easter eggs come in the form of audio logs, and once you activate said audio logs, they are permanently turned on. This is important because after a certain number of audio logs are activated, you get access to weapons caches scattered throughout the city, and that helps make runs like this possible. You literally get a mongoose, and with the proper driving path, you can just skip a bunch of the enemies on the Mombasa Street sections, but a little bit more on that later. Right now, let's get into the skull list and dive right in.
We are dropping into hell, troopers! Time to go up here!
A quick overview of the skulls are as follows. We got Black Eye, which means you need to melee enemies to gain shield back. This skull works similar to Halo 3, and this is an important distinction. As soon as you melee an enemy, your shield starts to come back. In this game, it's stamina instead, but at least you don't have to kill them to get it to work. Next up is Blind, which removes all elements of the heads-up display. Then there's Catch. This skull makes enemies throw and drop more grenades. Following that is Cowbell. This one increases the acceleration from explosions. Are you fucking crazy? Famine is up next. This skull makes all weapon drops by the enemies drop half the amount of ammo. Following that is Grunt Birthday Party. This skull makes grunt headshots lead to explosions of confetti. Next is Iron, which makes you reset the entire level on a death. Thankfully, this is a deathless run, so we get a pass on this one. I Would Have Been Your Daddy is next. And this one, of course, makes rare dialogue happen more often.
Why don't you take a picture? It lasts longer. Ever heard that one?
Now we have Mythic, which increases all enemies' health. That is amplified by the Thunderstorm Skull, which upgrades the rank of all enemies. Those skulls are further impacted by Tilt, which makes all enemy resistances and weaknesses increase. And lastly, there's Tough Luck. This skull makes enemies always berserk, always dive out of the way, and never flee. If I remember correctly, these skulls are all the same from Halo 3, which means that shielded brutes are going to be ass. Cool. With the basics out of the way, let's start this run off. Prepare to Drop is the first Streets mission that we get, and the story starts off about 6 hours after the initial drop. There's a little bit of combat here, it's nothing super difficult, but I have to point out one key difference between this game versus other Halo titles. Holy hell, do you have a ton of health in this game. You have 80 quote-unquote hit points of stamina, and then 80 hit points of health. That compared to other Halo titles like Halo 3, you only have 70 points of shields and then 45 points of health. Raw uses this to his advantage to really see how hard and how far ODST can be pushed. Many of these sections of this run are only even possible because you can just barely make it by to the next health pack and squeak by a ton of enemies all at the same time. On the other hand, you have sections like this initial encounter. Raw just straight up runs into the enemies, headshots a few grunts while under fire, and in the same breath, baits a brute to melee for a sidestep backsmack, and just casually talks to chat about a speedrun strat for a 20-minute coastal LASO Deathless route. Not to really get too far off topic, as I'll get to coastal later, but I recently did a video on LASO Plus, the Deathless tournament, Coastal Highway is terrible. Of course, what I was doing makes it worse, like with all the extra skulls and stuff, but Coastal is the one mission that takes this game from quote-unquote free to I'm never playing this again. And Raw is talking about a 20-minute route. I'm going off on a tangent, just let's get back. He clears a few of these enemies effortlessly, and then clears the first Streets mission in 1 minute and 46 seconds.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
Tayari Plaza. This is the first flashback mission where you play as the ODST Buck, and there are a couple of things that we need to cover right here at the start of this mission. The first is that quite literally, the only enemy that is scary at all in this game is Brute Shot Brutes. They kill you in 2 shots. Well, 2 direct shots, so that sucks. The second is the route. Raw is going for speed, so he has no choice but to just get in there for the goal that he's trying to set. Oftentimes, there are sections where the enemies are doing scripted events, and with the proper route, you can just abuse those actions and bypass a bunch of enemies that would normally be a problem. He literally just holds forward this entire mission. It's early on in the run, so he can be way more risky here. I mean, he literally gets sniped by a sniper and still trucks on through. That brings me to an aspect of skill, though. In the last encounter of Tayari, he gets sniped. Knowing he's low on health, he shoots an overcharge at a brute to force that brute to dive out of the way. That buys him a couple of crucial seconds to allow him just enough time to get to the next med pack and complete the mission. A staggering 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Now we move back to the streets. I won't discuss the streets too often as the video goes on, due to they're almost all just skipped with the mongoose when you get that from the weapons caches. I remind you that this is possible with the audio logs that are unlocked permanently once you get them for the first time. There's actually something else I found in the weapons caches too on my playthrough. Yo, hold on, check this out. Welcome to Aniba, your library for any game you want. This digital online marketplace offers games, gift cards, subscriptions, DLCs, and potentially even some in-game currencies for PC, mobile, and console games. They offer the creme de la creme of competitive prices on all of the above. Rest assured that they vet all of their merchants while also following up with a secure checkout. And with over 15 million users worldwide, you can't go wrong. Use my link in the description down below to start your tour into the vast archives of Aniba. Thank you, Aniba, for sponsoring the channel. After a short period of walking, we make it to Uplift Reserve and enter another flashback. Here we play as Dutch, and this is the first mission where we get a nice little dose of RNG. There are 2 choices here. You can fight every single enemy, or skip them all. Raw takes the most direct path possible for the most consistent result. Sometimes you just die here. It can't be helped. If one of the choppers shoots you too many times, often the cowbell skull will just flip you over, and once that happens, it's just a GG. Other times the ghosts auto-aim, can't stop it. Sometimes even banshees are in your ass. Other times, driving by the race, you just get gunned down by the turret. It's early enough in the run that you just have to take risks here. But this one is a nice short one where you can just drive past most of the enemies and straight to the end when you get good enough. So far, every mission he has played has been completed in less than 3 minutes. Back to the streets we go. And this is where the run takes a change in course. Think of the streets as a kind of limited but open world setting. You can, with a limited capacity, change the order of the story, which is exactly what Raw does. This is not only a faster route, but it is also safer. Instead of going to Kizingo Blvd, which would normally be next in a casual playthrough, he makes his way to Oni Alpha Site. This mission is closer to him in the game, and it also allows him to get a mongoose 1 mission sooner.
How neat is that? That's pretty neat.
After tactically taking out any enemy that would cause a major problem, this run is beginning to show promise of an excellent attempt. Moving on to Oni. You start this mission off on a bridge with Wraith mortars going off all around you. In this area, you have to be very aware of your surroundings, as not only do you have to deal with the multiple Wraiths all firing at the same time, but there are Banshees in the sky as well. And you have to hit these charges to blow up the bridge. There's a bunch of debris in the way, and there's just stuff everywhere. Raw just ignores all of this shit and just gets the fuck in there. There's a holdout fight after this section, which comes in waves, as well as another holdout fight inside the Oni building. He just murks through all of this shit like it's nothing. Once inside, he uses his TACCOM for the first time to check spawns so he knows exactly where to look and when. This is essentially a radar with a little bit further of a range. Now, I do need to stop for a second to point out the spawn camp for this fight. There are several waves of enemies that come in one after another, based on partially a timer, I believe, but also based on how many enemies are alive. Keeping control of this many enemies, one wave after another, is quite hard to do. Raw focuses on the brutes first, of course, as they are the enemies that have the highest possible chance of killing him. This is where I need to point out something specific that you may not have noticed yet. The Needler in this game doesn't super combine the players or your allies.
Say what?
This is yet another tool that Raw uses to know just how much he can get away with to really speed this run up. As the fight continues, he shows some more in-depth knowledge as he lines up 4 brutes from their spawn and gets 3 out of the 4 of them with a single laser shot. After a few others are taken out, he heads to the top of the Oni building for the final clear. Mickey does a little bit of trolling, but Raw maintains control and just kind of shits on everybody. Let me show you the difference of just how important it is to really know the details of the game you're playing.
Okay, I still got the double kill, so it worked out. But yeah, Mickey was trying to kill me there. Fucking Mickey. Where'd this jackal go?
Raw really knows ODST super well, and that was just one example of it. You can see he knows exactly what's coming, exactly where things spawn, and exactly how to handle it. As for me, on the other hand, I'm lost. I just haven't invested the time, and it really shows. Head glitching? Everything's fine? Oh shit. Oh my god.
Rockets up. You realize these are better weapons.
Oh, he's so smart, he's hiding behind a crate.
Oh, sure, I didn't want this great gun. Time for a spank.
Oh, well, that's bad. I need the jackal, bro.
Okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna forgive you, but I'm not gonna forget. Okay. But no
Okay, is that it? Oh, shit. Oh, please tell me. Holy shit! Okay. Okay, it's just like Halo 3. Get fucking shit on, idiot. Oh, yep, yep, go ahead. Nade off the map. Just walk off the edge. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Jump off the map. Go ahead, man. Yep. Go right ahead. Just walk off. Yep. Goodbye. Yep. Have a good one. Oh, yep. See you later. Have a good trip. Are we done? I can't be done till those guys are dead, huh?
did it. Let 'em run. Friendly fire.
Get up there.
I found it. You know, they're-
Oh my. Surely, if I don't take my eyes off of him, he'll just sit there, right? Surely. Nope, that makes no sense. That's coming. Okay. God, I got holy shit. What an ending this is. That's the last of us, John. We desperate out here. We are desperate out here. I mean, he's got bottom left. He's gonna lose the shield eventually, right? Like, surely. Oh, I can see it. Oh, it's flaring up, dude. Oh, here we go. I can see it. Come on. And you teleported away?
Just because you didn't mean it doesn't mean it didn't hurt.
Dude, he got his health back because you teleported away! Come on! Yeah, I was looking up at the sky like an idiot. Yeah! All right, let me go. I'm too excited. We're ready. On the left. All right, you got this. Yeah, I don't know, like, how to handle this. So I don't know, I mean, it's all the agencies. That didn't I use the rocket that didn't I don't know. Yeah, it's not like, I think there's that there. Yeah, I just don't know ODST, so I don't go down there and miss the whole mission in the last 2 days. Like, I'm not going to go back and do this 45 mission with Elvis. Don't just grab me. Like, I do not walk down there and look at me. There. Oh, that's really bad. Go ahead, okay. This is your pocket. Oh, it's there enough. What's there? Oh, he's trying to help, but he's going to be a spot. Come on. Silence there. Get there down there or try to assassinate this guy. I feel like it's there. Yeah, don't find the ODST. Shoot him.
Cover me. Reloading.
In the mission. Get me out of here. What the fuck is this? Holy shit, thank you. Jesus, 57 minutes. Good God, just get me off this game. So from this point forwards, every streets mission is skipped thanks to the mongoose. So let's jump straight into Kizingo Blvd. Normally here you'd want to go grab the tank, as that's the safest bet. No, he doesn't do that. Instead, he goes for a YOLO and runs straight towards the initial enemy spawn. He's only 25 minutes into his run right now, so he hasn't reached the point yet of where speed can be compromised. A couple of rockets and some well-placed grenades, and he barely scrapes by. Little side note here is that the catch skull does come in clutch in some of these sections. For example, the enemies were more interested in throwing grenades here as opposed to just shooting. That gave Raw enough time to get through there and continue the run. He chose this path because he wants to get an early ghost, which allows him to skip a lot of enemy encounters simply by having the speed to beat the AI's pathing. There's a slight deviation for a health pack to make sure he can survive the final trick, which is taking a Banshee out of bounds and over a wall. First, he kills a Marine because he doesn't want the Banshee to get distracted.
I'm sorry, little one.
And then he sets up a lure to manipulate the Banshee's AI to fly into a wall to start this trick off. This is important because you can't hijack these Banshees, but you can kill the driver and then get inside of it, which is exactly what he does. I'm fairly sure this is a trick as well. You have to kill the driver and then be holding the interact button, which is normally X unless you're on mouse and key, and that allows you to steal the Banshee before it blows up, even though the game doesn't want you to. It takes almost an entire beam clip, but he does it, only to be met by disaster.
Hopefully we get over the wall here. Okay, I've never been shot like that. Holy shit. Okay, I'm over and alive, but I'm very low on health. I've never been Banshee bombed. Like, what?
He gets immediately Banshee bombed, which thanks to tilt doesn't do that much damage, but then he gets aggroed by almost every enemy in the area. He holds his breath and makes it up over the wall and past the barrier, but with no health or stamina left. I got a hold of some footage of what's supposed to happen in this area, so let me show you that real quick. In that clip, he got much better RNG and still almost bit the dust. Look at his health.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
This is run logic at its finest. Knowing he's got next to nothing left in reserves, he has to take out the entire final fight while one shot. Since he can't exit the Banshee and grab a health pack, he sacrifices a little bit of time and takes this fight safer than usual. Infinite ammo Banshee with Banshee bombs takes care of business, and even though that didn't go as well as he would have hoped, it's still only an 8-minute mission.
L excuses, right hand on the Bible. God can strike me down if I'm lying. That motherfucker's cheating!
As I was checking this out, I noticed on his splits that he lost 1.5 minutes versus other runs he has done. That means that in the past, he's beaten Kizingo Blvd in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Kinda makes you wonder just how fast this run can go. A little bit of bad RNG there, but he is still alive, and that brings us to NMPD HQ. And brace yourself, because this one is another one where RNG plays a major factor. This mission has a piss ton of enemies, and to reach his goal, he just has to YOLO through every single encounter. The first section goes clean. He makes his way into the second section, and this is the first of 2 spots with potential chance of death. In order to get around these enemies, he has to do a grenade jump as they follow their scripted path. Right as he's about to go for it, a grunt from the previous area has a little surprise for him.
Okay. That has also never happened to me before. Luckily that nade missed me.
I guess he has a sixth sense, and he felt as if something was going to happen, because you can tell that he hesitated just slightly when going for the nade lineup, and that definitely saved this run right here. The sniper section goes according to plan, and now comes the worst part. To exit the 4th section, he has to run right past a turret chieftain and 2 mauler brutes. This is not one of those times where you can slow down a sec, kill a couple of things to make it safer, as trying to do that would allow enemies from the previous areas to catch up, and that is a bad thing. This entire mission is up to the end fight. It's all or nothing. He takes another deep breath and...
Alright, sweet.
Once again, baits the brutes to throw grenades, jumps over a fucking sticky grenade, and he's in there. The only thing that's left is a wave fight at the end, and I have to say, this wave fight is one of the funnest parts to play of any Halo game. As he gets there, he takes out a few Banshees with the laser and then lines up a pre-fire rocket. Like, what am I seeing right now? Apparently that lineup offsets or blows up a part of the Phantom to like just drop off a bunch of enemies like off the side of the map, I think. With the music hitting, Banshees everywhere. Raw takes the fight to them to speed this thing up as much as possible. He takes one of the missile pods and lines up another pre-fire for the final Phantom to skip even more enemies, and that's it. Only 3 missions left and Kikowani Station is on deck. This mission is by far one of the easiest in this game, as you can skip every encounter. He takes out a couple of grunts at the start and then does a sideways path so he can get as close to the Banshees as possible. Once he takes one over, he flies it over to the barrier break trick location and gets himself and a Banshee out of the map. Now, I gotta stop for a second here, because this, like the first time that I saw this, I was just astounded. So this one spot in particular has a very weird elastic barrier that you have to get past before you are fully out of bounds. This is rather important because if you get stuck in that barrier, there is no backup plan. You are permanently stuck unless you revert checkpoint, which he can't do. Raw just jumps over it like it's nothing. Doesn't bat an eye, doesn't think about it, just fuck it, I'm out. I actually asked a few ODST runners about this, and all of them, they think nothing of it. When I was running ODST, I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to just jump over this barrier. I was able to get it with a grenade jump, but I mean, like, at this point, you're pretty far into a run, and it would only take maybe another 20 seconds to grab a health pack and just grenade jump over it. Little spots like this are where you can really tell the difference between the average player and players who have really zoned in and honed their craft. Once you're out of the map, literally the entire rest of the mission is just hitting load zones and flying to the end, and that's Kiko in 4.5 minutes. Fuck me. One final mission before we reach Coastal, and you guessed it, Raw with nerves of steel doesn't slow the pace at all. He completely YOLO runs all of the halls leading up to the officer that's supposed to act as a kind of escort. The first drop down is no problem, but the fun doesn't really start until he's reached the second set of corridors. As he runs through, he knows that the enemies will disengage him if he kills specific enemies in a group. For example, if you have a set of enemies that's 3 jackals and a brute, you don't have to kill all of them to survive. You can just target the brute and kill him, and that will make the other enemies like disengage or panic or turn away. That gives you enough time to press on and get out of harm's way. Raw already knows each and every location of the medpacks on this mission and uses that to his advantage. Just in case he gets into a hairy situation, he can just make a slight detour and give himself some much needed health to get out of those tighter situations. Let's take a look at the second set of halls and see how they go.
Oh god. Oh, that was scary. The first guy that walked out was a brute shot guy, and he like punched me in the back. Don't turn into a suicide, okay. Hey, all in all, that was pretty good. Not as scary as other times that have been deathless to this point. So we'll take those.
How he survived that, I will never know. And from what I understand, that's still not even the worst part. After the second drop down is where things get worse. There's like 10 to 12 brutes all stuffed into a small pathway, and once again, he manages to pull it off. At the very end, he threw a tactical grenade to the enemies to get them to dive out of the way, and it turns out that's all he needed to get through. He clears out a few more guys and meets up with Dare. The next halls are less scary than before, and he takes full advantage of Dare being a distraction, as well as abusing the enemy's AI to get the hell out of there. Now for the Bugger's Nest. There are several ways to bypass all of the Bugger spawns and get straight to the end where you have to protect Virgil. Raw lines up 3 fusion coils and then does the triple fusion coil launch to skip the elevator and the spawns. Things would have to go catastrophically wrong for this to not be a run to Coastal at this point. Virgil can get himself killed as you're escorting him to the end, but that's just not likely. One final clear, and you would think that there's no worries left, but ODST has other things in store. He almost gets chain reacted by a spike grenade on the ground, and then right after that, bad RNG ensues and his allies woke up the sleeping drones after the dropdown. Thankfully, he was able to recover, and now it's quite literally all hands on deck as Coastal is nothing short of a monster of a mission. At long last, Raw gets another attempt to finally conquer this challenge. Here's what you need to know about Coastal. Everything sucks. The objective of this mission is to keep Dare alive. The problem with that, Dare doesn't give a shit about what's happening and just gets the fuck in there even when there's a legion of enemies in the way. I don't know why Dare is just stuck right there. Well, you're driving into the wall, idiot! Of course the shield is down, moron! Where are you driving? Ass clown? She has no sense of awareness, and that's what really makes this mission stand out from all the others. If you watched my other video, Can I Beat the Halo LASO Deathless Challenge for CE? You can compare this mission to the Keys escort at the end of TNR. Oh my... And look at that. Fucking dumbass Marine! Except it's just worse. At least with Keys, you can run him kind of back and forth and, navigate the halls, try to take out elites and grunts tactically, and just kind of keep him safe. That doesn't happen here. This is what Dare wants to do.
Okay, so I find that level on my graph, and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. Now there's going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
So let's break this mission down. Right at the start is a fairly consistent enemy skip by just running around them. This part looks much scarier than it actually is, and Raw has no issue here. Once he gets to the actual highway, this is where the so-called fun begins. Here are a series of doors that get progressively harder as the mission goes on. The first 4 are literally no trouble at all. The 5th door has a piss ton of ghosts, and if too many of them aggro at the same time, that's game over. Doors 6 and 7 are where boys are turned into men. You get an upgraded hog with the gauze hog at door 6. That helps, but door 7 is basically just praying for survival. If you can make it to door 8, you get a tank, and that's when you know you're on the home stretch. Okay, so back to the run itself. Raw handles the first 4 doors with no problem. As he heads into door 5, this is where things start to get nerve-wracking. So back in the 3rd door, he killed a bunch of fuel rod grunts, which he stops and grabs one for Buck. He wants to give that to him. Buck has unlimited ammo, bottomless clip, and this gives him a fairly safe and secure door 5, as the fuel rod is like a scary weapon and Buck just shoots it wildly everywhere, so the ghosts kind of just fuck off. It's at least as safe as you can be on a LASO Deathless run for this door. Now, before moving on to door 6, I need to point out something with Buck's AI. Buck knows that when he has a fuel rod, that's a better weapon to use than a standard chain gun turret. This is an important distinction because Buck decides to have a panic attack and misses 6 fucking shots in a row on the first Banshee, and then decides to shoot the extra Gauss Hog to throw off the entire encounter. Raw compensates for this dumb shit and brings it back. He makes his way to the end of door 6 and now actually has a chance for door 7 despite all of the garbage that's going on here. Going into door 7, we have our first Wraith encounter along with a handful of ghosts and banshees. If the Wraith shoots at Buck and he gets out, that oftentimes blows up the Gauss Hog and it is game over. There's nothing else in the area you can use to get enough guys dead fast enough for Dare to survive. The trick to this area is getting the Wraith aggroed on Buck, but putting Buck in a spot where he can't get shot. Raw came up with an ingenious positioning where the Wraith mortar shoots a sign instead of shooting Buck. Because the Wraith shoots on an arc, this tactic is probably the only reason this run is possible. He pulls off the lineup under a massive amount of pressure, and he starts to believe.
I see it.
I think the Wraith is a little closer than it usually is. Oh no, okay, we're good, we're good. Oh, I'm out of plasma pistol. I can't EMP the Wraith again. That's not good. Oh no, it shot it. Please, dude, please. I ran out of plasma. Oh, I ran out of plasma pistol because I was killing the guys that got out. Come on, come on, come on. Get your health up. Get your health up. Please, Dare. Oh, let's fucking go!
And just as things seem to be falling apart, the next door opens, which gives Dare a health reset, and now he has a chance. He continues laying down fire as he knows it's not over, but at this point, it's all downhill from here.
Oh, wait, okay. Oh my god, that was scary, dude. I've never been almost hit by the AA.
And just as quickly as the celebration begins, ODST comes right back to zap him back into reality. He starts taking fire from the AA Wraith in the next area, which brings his heart to a stop. And all he can do is pray that he can make it to the next health pack. From this point forward, there are very few things that could bring this run to a halt. He gets a brief break as the next few sections of the highway are much easier than the last few. All that's left now is the final fight. At this point, he is 1 hour and 18 minutes in, and he still has one more trick up his sleeve. He uses the tank to push a hog forward and into the exit tunnel. He uses this hog to actually push the tank past an invisible barrier and physically get it into the final fight. This allows him a major advantage on fighting the last 4 waves, the boss waves, I guess. With time running out, he prepares himself as the waves start coming in. The first wave is a bunch of grunts and a bunch of brutes. The only enemy that's scary here is the fuel rod brute. Raw opts to leave the tank out of this one, as sticky grenades can kill him very, very quickly. He uses green gun and the pistol to make short work of this wave. The second wave, nothing but jackals, which pose no threat. The main threat is the hunters that come in after that. But with the tank, they just literally get shit on. The final wave is nothing but brutes, and there's a lot of them. There's one hammer chieftain, but at this point, Raw is super confident, and he wipes the floor with them. He closes out the run and gets in 1:27:31. The fastest LASO Deathless run ever. Big shout out to Raw for allowing me to cover this run, and I actually spent a little bit of time talking to him to get a little bit more insight into his overall thoughts on this.
So, if I were to describe ODST LASO Deathless in one sentence, it's that it's more of a sprint than a marathon. And what I mean by that is in other Deathless Lasso games, they're pretty hard to play fast. And that's mostly because Master Chief is built like wet paper mache. In ODST, it's one of the easier Lasso Halo games in general, which everybody, including myself, can agree upon. But that doesn't mean that it's the easiest Deathless Lasso game. So what I mean is that while watching other Lasso runners, Deathless runners, if you have watched any others, you probably notice that oftentimes they're going kind of slow. So this isn't to say that I'm better or faster than other Lasso players or anything like that. But it's just the style that lends most effectively to ODST Lasso that I've found. In many cases, Deathless is about being as consistent as possible. And while other Halo games being slower or more cautious makes sense because of several reasons, like regenerating health or head glitching in Halo 2, or once again the fact that Chief is usually built like a regular Marine in most of the Lasso games. In ODST, you're rewarded actually for going fast. And what I mean by this is there's several things. So in ODST, there's med kits, which if you have taken damage, you can immediately go back to full health with the use of one of these med kits. So you can choose your pathing accordingly to know that you're going to be able to pick up a med kit and get back to full HP. Most of the enemies in the game use energy weapons, which because of tilt, those do half the damage to your health pool that they would regularly do. Tough Luck Skull actually works in this game. So when you throw nades at enemies, they dodge and stop shooting you. The Catch Skull also works really well in this game. So at certain ranges, enemies will throw nades at you and not shoot you. So you could use all these things to your advantage. I'm sure I'm missing some of them, but this is just a show that there's these interactions which allow you to go fast in ODST. That being said, once again, like I said, ODST Lasso Deathless is actually like one of not the hardest or anything like that, but harder than people will like to give it credit for because it's easier in general. But the hardest level in the whole franchise, right? At least one of the hardest levels in the entire franchise is the last level of the game. So if you were to do like a 6-hour run where you're playing slow just to get to Coastal and die, it would be super frustrating. But if you can get to Coastal in like 1 hour and then you lose the run at Coastal, it's not that bad. So that was kind of my thought process behind how I routed and played ODST. And I hope that makes sense. And, thanks for Jerv for covering this run.
Runs like this don't happen very often. So I definitely recommend checking out the full run, as this video doesn't do justice to just how difficult challenges like this are. The link will be in the description down below. That way you too can capture the full scope of it. And that wraps up this one. Stuff like this really makes you wonder just what's possible within the Halo franchise. Well, YouTube, you know what to do. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.